Hello students, welcome to another class of the biology, and this is the continuation of our previous chapter. That is, we have come to the very interesting part of the circulatory system, that is heart. Now, when we talk about heart, there are lots of other things which are associated with the heart. What are the other things? The most important thing which is actually related to the heart, that is veins, arteries, capillaries. And because these are actually the blood vessels and which are associated with the heart. Heart itself cannot work without all these vessels, arteries and capillaries. So they actually help the heart to work. So let us see now what we will be learning over here. So first of all, let us learn about the location. And we know what is heart. Heart is an organ of our body which is actually the pumping organ. What is pumping? It is pumping the blood. Okay. So let us study about the location. As we know that where is our heart present? Our heart is present in the upper part of our body, that is in between the lungs. How many lungs are there in our body? 2. So between the 2 lungs, the heart is located and it is above the diaphragm. What is a diaphragm? A diaphragm is a membrane which is separating the upper part and the lower part. Below the diaphragm, the body is actually the abdominal area. And above the diaphragm, we call that one as a chest cavity. So that means the heart is present in the chest cavity. It is between the lungs. Obviously, this is guarded by the skeletal system known as the ribs. Okay. And it is actually present at the center. But obviously, when we feel that the heart is located at the left side, that is a feeling. That is not exactly the true. So location, when it will be asked, obviously you will be actually going for the center part of the heart. Is actually it is present in the center part of the chest cavity. Okay. So now let's see that why it is giving a feeling of the left hand side. So if we draw the lungs, hope you can understand, then the heart will be present in between these 2 lungs, thus the center. But the heart is actually a triangular shaped organ which all of us we know, and this is mainly present on the top of the diaphragm. This is the diaphragm. Now, if it is a triangle is having a base and the apex. Same thing happens with our heart also. So when we talk about the heart, we always know that this heart is actually like this shape. So how I have drawn, you see this particular part is towards the left side. Okay. So when I have drawn and I place myself like this, my left hand side is this and right hand side is this. Okay. So the particular apex, this is the apex, this is the apex, this is the base. So the apex part is slightly tilted towards the left, and when the heart is pumping the blood from the apex, the down part, it is pumping in a very powerful manner, which is giving us the feeling that it is present at the left side, but it is not. Exactly, if you can see the figure, it is exactly present at the center between the 2 lungs, lung 1 and lung 2, above the diaphragm, and the whole system is actually inside the rib cage. So this is completely protected by the rib cage. Okay. So hope the location is very much clear with all of you. Now we move on to the structure. So I don't need to draw over here again the lungs. So if we just draw the structure of the heart, right? Let's see. This particular heart is an organ. It's a closed organ. So this heart will be actually bounded by a membrane, and it is a double layer membrane of the heart, right? Like this. This is a protective membrane of the heart, and the protective membrane we call as pericardium. In between this pericardium, there is a liquid. It is not air, it is not empty. This liquid is known as pericardial fluid. So kindly remember, what is the membrane of the heart known as pericardium? What is the liquid which is present? That is the pericardial fluid. Now what is exactly the structure of your heart? It depends upon your fist. If you are folding your hand palm like this becomes a fist. So our heart is actually the size of our own fist. And when you place here, you will think that yes, my heart is having a size of this. So it is actually the size of our closed fist, right? And as we grow in our lifetime, our fist size also grows, and accordingly our heart is also growing, right? So this we have to know, and it is actually having the 12 centimeter almost. Suppose we talk about the length, 12 centimeter in length. Hope all of you know what is the length over here, and 9 centimeter in width. Okay, 9 centimeter in width. This is the width. Okay, so this is very much clear, I think so, about the structure, and it is containing this particular pericardium and the pericardial fluid. Obviously it is a protective function, right? So we have learnt about the location and the structure, but yes, we have to learn in details the structure. Now we will learn about the most important part. Let me draw the heart first. And how I will draw, it is quite different from your book diagram. Right? I will draw the diagram like this. And I think so you will be able to understand. Okay? So what is this? I have also given you this kind of a diagram before also. And so let us now move on to this, right? And this is like this, okay? Let me first draw it and then I will explain you, okay? Here I will be drawing hope all of you have understood now. Okay, now I will all explain you what I have drawn here. So this is a very simple diagram. If I will explain you, you can also draw this type of diagram in your exam, and you can also refer this type of diagram. Please make an image of this heart diagram in your own self, which will help you, right? This is a very easy diagram. It is not a 3D diagram, it is a 2D diagram, but I think so this is easier for all the students to remember. So let us now see what we have drawn. Usually if you are drawing a schematic diagram of the heart, let us take this heart, and it is having, all of us we know, our human heart is having 4 chambers. 4 chambers is upper, right, left, lower right and left. Okay. So this particular part, how we consider right and left, again we will draw and we will stand like this. Our right hand side will be the right side of the heart and left hand side will be the left side of the heart. Okay. So this is the left side, this is the right side, right? And the left side and the right side is actually divided with a kind of a membrane, and this membrane is known as septum. So this septum you can see in this blue line which I have drawn. Hope this is clear. So this is a septum which is actually, here you cannot see because it is totally covered up by these vessels over here, right? So this is the septum which you can see over here. This septum is separating the right side with the left side. Now why it is like that? Because right side always it is dealing with the deoxygenated blood. Okay, and left side is dealing with oxygenated blood. Now again the question arises, what is deoxygenated blood and what is oxygenated blood? Deoxygenated blood, what happens? The composition is actually a little bit different. In the deoxygenated blood, more carbon dioxide is present, less oxygen is present. Okay? In the oxygenated blood, less carbon dioxide is present, more oxygen is present. This is just the basic difference. We can also understand from its name. Now we come to the upper and the lower. The upper part of the hearts are called as auricles. Lower part are called the ventricles. So, write this. We can write this is right auricle. This is right ventricle. This is left auricle and this is left ventricle. So let us put this particular thing over here. Right auricle, left auricle, right ventricle and left ventricle. This particular part is very much clear. So 4 chambers are there. These 4 chambers are separated into right and left side. Right and left sides are having a separating membrane called the septum. And right is dealing with the deoxygenated blood. Left is dealing with the oxygenated blood. Okay. So now what will happen, since we say that the heart is a pumping organ, it's very important that heart has to receive the blood. First I will explain you this. What I have drawn over here, I will draw with the green arrow. I will draw the deoxygenated blood, and with the red I will draw the oxygenated blood, so that it becomes easier for you all to understand. You also can do the same thing in your copy when you will be drawing it. So from the lower part of our body, from the lower part means the abdominal part, that is from our legs, from our stomach, from our kidney, from our liver, the blood, the deoxygenated blood, which is a kind of an impure blood, is coming and is getting poured in the chamber. Now which chamber? Obviously right auricle. So from the lower part it is coming through this particular blood vessel. This blood vessel is named as inferior vena cava. And from the upper part of our body, again the deoxygenated blood is coming from the blood vessel, that is superior vena cava. Superior vena cava, inferior vena cava. Okay, vena cava means veins over here. Okay. So this deoxygenated blood is now poured in this particular RA. What is RA? Right auricle. The moment it will be poured over here, this right auricle will not keep the blood here. This right auricle will send the blood. Now how will it send? You can see I have drawn this zigzag kind of structure which is known as a valve. A particular valve is present which is known as a tricuspid valve. Why it is tri? Because it is having 3 cusps, 3 flaps, and these 3 flaps are actually attached with the heart muscles so that their opening and closing can be regulated by these thread-like structures which is known as chordae tendineae. Chordae tendineae. Right? Otherwise what will happen? What is known as a valve? A valve is something which is opening at one side. Even in our washrooms and all, we have the taps with a valve. If the valve is open, the water is coming in one direction. It is unidirectional. It is not being able to go back. So this valve in our heart is actually preventing the blood from going to the back side. Okay, so the blood which is coming over here is getting poured in the right ventricle, and once it is poured over here it will not be able to go back because the valve will open in one direction, which will let this blood to flow to this particular chamber, and it will not be able to go back. No, it will not be. So I am not drawing in this way. So it is unidirectional. Thus RV is already getting the deoxygenated blood. Now after getting this deoxygenated blood, RV will not keep the blood here. RV will send the blood. How it will send? Where it will send? It will contract, and this blood will go from this particular blood vessel like this. That time you can see another blue structure I have drawn. This is another valve over here. This valve is known as semilunar valve. Right? And it is opening and letting the blood to go in an upward direction. Again, it cannot flow down. And this particular vessel which you can see, this is known as pulmonary artery. Pulmonary artery. So pulmonary artery is actually carrying the deoxygenated blood from RV to where? See, there is a branch over here, the two parts. One is going to lung 1, another one is going to lung 2. And why it is going? Lungs function over here will be what? Purification. It will totally pour the blood with full of oxygen, and again it will send the blood to the heart. So heart is sending the blood to the lungs so that deoxygenated blood can become oxygenated. Once the lung is making it oxygenated, lung will send the blood through this blood vessel, and this is known as pulmonary vein. And now I will change the color. Why will I change the color? Because now my blood is oxygenated. So now the oxygenated blood is coming with full of oxygen, will be poured where? In the left auricle. Left auricle, after receiving the blood, it will send again over here to the left ventricle. Another thing you can see here, another two valves are present where you can see two flaps. Again, there will be the thread-like structures, chordae tendineae, which will regulate the opening of the valve. So this valve is known as bicuspid valve. Bi, that means two. It can also be called as mitral valve, M-I-T-R-A-L. So it is having two names. Kindly remember, bicuspid or mitral valve. Often sometimes the question is asked, the mitral valve's location. So most of the time we see the students get confused. Which one is the mitral valve? Mitral word has come from mitra, if you can say. It's a friend. Friend is who is doing good for us. Good means oxygenated blood. And where is the oxygenated blood? It is in the left side. So this is somewhat you can relate. It is not, no logic is there like that. You can make your own logic. I made my own logic to remember. So it's a mitral valve, right? So the oxygenated blood is actually poured over here in this left ventricle. Now what this left ventricle will do now? Now the oxygenated blood doesn't have any work, only it has to go to the other part of our body. So the left ventricle will send this oxygenated blood through the another vessel which you can see, and this vessel is termed as, I think so you know it, is termed as dorsal aorta. Here you can see the valve again, which is also known as the semilunar valve. In the same manner, semilunar valve, right? So this is the semilunar valve which will allow the oxygenated blood to pass through it, and it will not come back again, and it will go to the whole part of the body through this dorsal aorta. Here you can see this kind of structure which I have drawn. This is actually the muscles of the heart which I have tried to draw. It is somewhat everywhere in the heart. This is known as a papillary muscle, which is giving rise to this kind of chordae tendineae with what it is actually attached to. So this is somewhat about the circulation, blood vessels which are associated. So sometimes it comes in your question, which blood vessels are entering the heart, which blood vessels are just leaving the heart. So I think so that is easier for you to understand. Yes, we will move on to the details in our next video. Thank you, students.